We are now 36 days away from the election, and One Valley County is getting nearly $2 million to make sure everything goes smoothly. Here's Channel 5's Monica de Anda.
With a little over a month until Election Day, Cameron County received a $1.8 million grant from the Center for Tech and Civic Life.
That's going to go a long way to cover the cost of additional personnel, as well as additional training, some new equipment and supplies that are needed for the early voting site.
Garza says the money will also allow Cameron County to expand curbside voting, a plus as more people choose to vote from inside their car instead of going into a poll site.
We saw in the July election that there was a much bigger demand for curbside voting, but it's never been utilized this way, and it's specifically because people's concern with COVID-19.
Also in the plans ahead of early voting, what Garza calls 2 additional Supercenter sites, primarily used to help process those using curbside voting. The location of these centers not yet final, but likely in Harlingen and Brownsville.
If we're able to provide access to ballots during the early voting, it's going to reduce the pressure for Election Day, where people won't have to worry about standing in lines at their polling sites or worry that they're not going to have enough time to process their ballots before the polls close.
Safety precautions like social distancing, the use of face masks, and the addition of plastic barriers are being taken to keep voters safe if they choose to vote inside a poll site. Another chunk of the money will be used to double the amount of personnel at most locations.
These funds are going to help us make sure that we have the additional staff to retrieve the ballot boxes from the polling sites. We're also going to have some decontamination equipment that we're going to be using in order to clean everything that comes from outside of the central count station.
Garza says overall, the nearly $2 million grant will reduce election costs in Cameron County and help them prepare as they brace for an increase in voter turnout. Monica de Anda, Channel 5 News at 6.